Today's reflection is going to be on this book that I heard about on TikTok, The Anti-Mary Exposed. And I have my notes here because I have some things to say about the first chapter. This first chapter is very much focused on feminism and its false promises of freedom. And the more I've read about feminism, which, it started off with noble claims, and the idea of equality is not a feminist idea. This is a Christian idea that everyone is equal. But leave it to man to take something good and make it twisted. We're not property, so feminism was right to question that aspect of society in the early 20th century. So noble starts, but around mid-century, it went something like about being complimentary to our partners, to rivalry, and we still see this today. There's just some women that are really anti-men, very dismissive about those women that want to be stay-at-home moms. So the anti-Mary archetype that the book argues doesn't just reject modesty and motherhood, it rejects the Marian virtues of receptivity, humility, and self-gift. There's this quote that is often attributed to Marilyn Monroe, but actually looking it up, it was by a psychologist, Timothy Leary, and it says, "Women who seek to be equal to men lack ambition." We could go into what he meant, but the way that I've always thought about it is like, yes, we shouldn't be striving to be equal to men. We should just be equal, period. Because what really bothers me about just a lot of these social movements, which again have a good essence to them, it's about, at least in feminism's case, that we chase male pattern success metrics. And what that means is we see a hierarchy, the income and dominance, and we're measuring value through a narrow industrial capitalist lens that only a small percentage of men actually achieve. So feminism's model of success is the CEO, the legislator, the academic elite. Those are reachable by, again, only a tiny minority. So this risks setting standards that implicitly devalue the many roles that women and men have in everyday life. So the truck driver, the miner, the soldier, garbage collectors, line cooks, they're all humble, necessary work that actually sustains society. But that's not what these feminisms that want to break the glass ceilings talk about. No one wants those jobs. They're stressful and dangerous jobs that actually shorten a man's lifespan. But whatever, let's just ignore those, right? And Christianity, on the other hand, elevates the lowly. This is literally Jesus' message throughout the entire Gospels. So with the second wave of feminism, and as it's still normalized today, they really objected to motherhood. And motherhood, once someone becomes a parent, just parenthood in general, right? Men and women, if you are blessed and are able to have kids, it's no longer about you. It's about the child. And I've been listening a lot as I'm thinking of becoming a mother someday soon, God willing. I've been listening to a lot about childhood development, particularly this psychologist, Erica Cosmar. And I'm not sure that she's religious, but whatever the point is, she's done a lot of studies on children and childhood development. She's very much for children's rights. And yeah, that might seem like it infringes on a woman's right to be free and independent, but that's just a twisted reality, because again, if you are becoming a mother, then your goal should be to focus on the child, and this is really just caring for society. Parents must raise healthy, stable, contributing members of society. I've also been reading this book called The Body Keeps the Score. The book is about trauma and how the body keeps the score, and he talks some very graphic stories that he's through patients that he's encountered, and just some really messed up stuff. We are all responsible, I think, for just treating each other kindly. I mean, this is literally our second commandment, to love one another. When we mess people up deliberately or unknowingly, as I believe, the more I read about it again, feminism has done, and it's the way that feminism has gone about things, okay? Not the idea of equality itself, okay? I believe that devaluing motherhood hurts society. So it's not all feminism's fault why we are the way we are today, but it is part of dismantling the family, of the collective, of the common good. And so when feminism promised women freedom from dependence, it really resulted in dependence on employers instead of the family, dependence on the government or daycare instead of community. Erica Casimir talks a lot about this, how it used to be, it takes a village. It was a community. It was women meeting other women, meeting other moms, and building a community, a sense of community, which is very important for us social beings. So now we kind of just send kids off to daycare early. We depend on government assistance, which is not doing a good job on maintaining social order or the morality in general. And then there's dependence on external affirmation through feminism instead of spiritual identity. The ironic thing is that there's rising anxiety and depression in these very societies that enjoy the most comfort. We are the most comfortable. We have everything and more than we really need. Yet there's increasing anxiety and depression. Now, Christianity teaches that humans are made in God's image and likeness, men or women, both, and that we are equally dignified in our own distinctive role. True equality is rooted in personhood, not the identical function or ambition. So the CEO is equal to the beggar on the street. Studies consistently show that community belonging and religious faith consistently predict greater happiness than wealth. Big surprise. That's why all the rich celebrities and those top CEOs that everyone looks up to so much look so happy, don't they? Again, if this doesn't scream the reason or emphasize the reason for the second commandment, to love one another, I don't know what does. This is why I believe in the faith, and it's important to have some sort of structure. We cannot be our own self-governing gods. This is just going to lead to chaos and anyway, so the more I see society and try to kind of contemplate it from a philosophical standpoint, the more interesting it becomes, and the more I see just the demonicness of the world and how it creeps in. And so this book, I'm only in chapter 1, okay, so I might have a lot more to say. It's about the Marian model, and it'll get into it, I'm sure. So that's my little reflection for this week. Let me know what you think on all these thoughts. If you have anything to add, or you want to argue against the point that I made, that's fine.